how did you get involved in the salsa scene?
Wow. Well, of course, you guys know who my late father was, Tito Puente, the king and master of Latin music. El rey de timbal, if you will, they say in Spanish. He was just an amazing man, and I gradually got into Latin music after his passing in 2000. But before that, I was always interested in the Fania movement and all that other stuff. And I love Latin music, like ever since I was a little kid. So it's great to be part of it now, especially now, after his passing and keeping his music alive.
Awesome. Where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm from the Bronx, New York City. Born and raised. Born in Bronx, Lebanon Hospital back in 1971. And lived all my life in New York City. We actually like the Puerto Rican Jeffersons. We went from the Bronx to Manhattan, from Manhattan to Rockland County, which is about 20 miles north of Manhattan. But it was just an amazing experience living with my late father. You know, a lot of people ask me, what's it like being Tito Puente's son, you know? And being from New York City, and knowing that my dad was from New York and born and raised too as well, it feels so much clearer about Latin music in general. He made a mambo sound that was so unique to New York, and that's why I love going back home. My whole family still lives in New York, so that's where I'll always be from.
How can we get more people involved in the salsa scene?
Wow. Well, doing congresses like this, congresos, if you will, to do congresses like this and to have salsa people come together with great awe and humility when they're performing, especially because these are some fabulous dancers. That's what today. But to have them come together, especially in islands like Hawaii and Japan, and when they're doing the stuff in Korea, and they have congresses all over, Sweden, and Netherlands, they have them all over the world. I mean, Albatross is doing a fabulous job. Margarita and Nancy, they really know how to make Latin music very vital and an important part of the Puerto Rican and Hispanic culture here in Hawaii, in Oahu, in Waikiki. It's just amazing what they're doing. And how to bring people more? I think a little more promotion and getting the word out there with shows like this and websites and MySpace sites and all that. It really gets the word out to get more people to come out here. I happen to be out here on vacation. I found out the same time that I'm going to be during the Salsathon.
Oh, wow.
So I'm so grateful that I got the opportunity to be a part of it, and I am coming back next year for sure.
Awesome. Buena suerte, huh?
Yeah.
Tough question. Maybe not tough for you. What does salsa mean to you?
Wow, that is kind of tough. Well, I didn't like it at first, but salsa to me means dancing, and that's exactly what's been being displayed here today. Dancing at its finest. On to everybody dancing rueda and cha-cha-cha, rumba, mambo, guanguanco. There's so many different dances out there too, especially styles of music. Bolero, and then you got bomba plena from Puerto Rico. You got merengue from República Dominicana. I mean, you got so many different styles of music, but to me, salsa in itself is Latin music, and especially what my father did. He used to say salsa. Salsa is what you eat, what you put your, your chips into. Salsa, tomate, goya. That's what he used to say. But the real word for salsa is mambo, guanguanco, rumba, cha-cha-cha. It's all invented from Cuba. It's all invented from the style, from the African to Cuba. From Cuba, it spanned across all of the Caribbean into Puerto Rico, into Santo Domingo. And then it became a worldwide phenomenon with my late father, Tito Puente, in New York. He brought all those cultures together and created a sound from itself. So salsa, in general, was, I guess, a fluke with the Fania All-Stars, but I think my dad's been doing it way before them. I think the future salsa will always be there. Remember, my father, Tito Puente, did this back in 1949. Your cameraman and yourself and probably your producers of your show weren't even born then, okay?
Sure, yeah.
And if you were, then you need to retire. But I'm telling you, we're all young guys here, and we're all young ladies and gentlemen, as a matter of fact, and young kids. So if you have to think about it, when you listen to a Tito Puente record today, it sounds like he did it yesterday. And he's still alive today. Just brilliant sounding music. My father was ahead of his time, and that's why I continue his legacy to keep that going. Salsa will never, ever, ever expire, die, retire, any of that, because the rhythms will always be there, and especially songs like Oye Como Va, Ran Can Can. Those are heavy-duty tunes that can really transcend time. I've seen little kids here today at this Congress dancing to Tito Puente. Nice. So that tells you salsa will never, ever die.
That's because of you, sir. You're keeping the legacy alive.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you feel maybe salsa maybe evolve into something else maybe? Or would it always be the same as it was when your father was still alive?
I think the old school salsa from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, that segment of time was just the most amazing music that you could possibly fathom with Latin music, Latin jazz especially. Eddie Palmieri, Fania All-Stars, Johnny Pacheco. I mean, that whole sound of just the conjunto clásico and the Sonora Ponceña, Sonora Matancera with Celia Cruz, La Lupe, one of our great singers of our time, and just amazing sounds from Charlie Palmieri and all those great artists that created that whole Latin vibe. It will always transcend into time. So you will never have to worry about the future or what it will eventually become or how we can get more people here, because all of it always extends to the music. My father always taught me that the dancer and the band are always unison with one another. You have to have dancers to perform Latin music, and to perform Latin music, you need dancers. I can't perform having people sitting in like Carnegie Hall, for instance, in New York. They're all sitting down. There will be no dancing tonight, Mr. Puente. Well, then I quit. Has to be dancing. Absolutely. Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. Domarigato. Mahalo. And it's been a pleasure being here. Thank you to Albert Torres and, of course, to Margarita and Nancy. They've been great. And aquí estamos. Tito Puente Jr. ¡Huepa!
Muchas gracias, señor.
Gracias, papito. Un placer.
Pleasure to meet you.
Inglés!
Tito Puente Jr. You gotta thank his dad for bringing him here, right?
Yeah, baby.